Hello everyone. I'm Peuhkuri. I work as a manager for regional development at the regional council here. And as Paula just explained, we are not part of the core area of this program, but we have other instruments and also the LUT that has competence studies of regional, national and global relevance. So I'm hoping to show you a little video to start with, but let's see how it works. It's always a bit exciting with videos. There's supposed to be a YouTube link here. I think I have to go out of the slideshow. Let's see. Okay. Let's see.
Saimaa is the fourth largest lake in Europe and, according to the Wall Street Journal, one of the most impressive lakes in the world.
Okay, how do you know how to expand this? I think we should try to make it a bit bigger. I think it doesn't allow.
Saimaa is the fourth largest lake in Europe and, according to the Wall Street Journal, one of the most impressive lakes in the world. For centuries, this gentle giant has provided nourishment, renewable energy and prosperity for the Finnish people. Now it's ready to do the same for the world. In the warm embrace of Lake Saimaa lies South Karelia, a region affectionately called the Finnish East Coast. Not only for its 8,000 kilometers of shoreline, but also for its groundbreaking Harvard-level innovations. Thanks to many of them, almost 80% of all energy used in South Karelia is renewable energy. The region is also home to LUT, a forerunner university in sustainable technologies. Also known as the Green Campus, LUT fights the good fight in the research of circular economy, sustainable business and clean energy and water. Talking about water, Finland's largest hydropower plant can be found here as well. It has been keeping the cities lit since 1929 and today it produces enough electricity to provide for 50,000 homes. As Finland's leading and globally renowned forest industry cluster, South Karelia is an international forerunner in the development of wood-based innovations. A good example of this is the world's first biorefinery that produces renewable diesel from crude tall oil. Although a lot is produced, almost nothing goes to waste on the Finnish east coast. A large portion of the region's household and industrial waste is turned into clean energy and bioenergy plants, and by 2050 there will be a zero waste policy in action. This means that 100% of waste produced in the area will be recycled and utilized. People of the Finnish east coast are known to be light-hearted, but as you have seen, we take the future of the planet seriously. So, join the movement.
Okay, so as you can imagine, the scale is quite impossible to squeeze into a small PowerPoint slide because we have a quite geographically extended area and very big industrial plants. If you go to a certain spot at the UPM biorefinery, for instance, you can only see a little bit, but if you look from the air, then you see a lot more. I was quite, how do you say, troubled to think, because you're an expert audience, and I'm sure I'm going to learn a lot about the hydrogen economy and about your project in the coming couple of hours. So I was very humbled to come and talk to you and think which way to approach. So I will kind of try to give you an overview of what we now have and what we are attempting to achieve in the mid-term future. Regional Council is a regional administrative authority that is composed of 9 municipalities. We have a kind of regional level planning and development task. So we're trying to serve together with the municipalities, together with other regions, nationally, internationally, to make a good economy and a good living for the people here. So the first thing I thought was to say something about our targets. So we have a carbon neutrality in sight. As you already heard, we have a very high percentage of energy renewables already. It's the highest in Finland. In a sense, it's very much to thank the industry we have, because they have a lot of bio sludges and fuels that they use by themselves and also together with municipalities. I will touch a little bit in more detail the renewables status by source a little bit later. But very recently, only a couple of weeks ago, we were together with Tampere region, the first regions in Finland to join this so-called Hinku network, which means a carbon neutral municipalities network. In September this year, the Finnish Environment Institute that coordinates this network accepted applications from regions, and immediately the environmental manager, my colleague, and the municipality started preparing an application which was approved on the 7th of November. This means that already now, more than 80% of the population in the region, this is a condition to be approved, that already over 80% of the region's population is in municipalities that have committed to these goals, meaning CO2 emission cut by 80% by 2030 relative to 2007. And this is public commitment that is requesting us to work hard and to show example, and we have a possibility to learn from the others and also exchange good practices within the network with other regions and municipalities. We are attempting to create demand and also supply from here for the good products and services we can utilize here and also elsewhere. And because of this new commitment, we will have to develop a regional roadmap for achieving the targets during next year. So we will have a work to do together with stakeholders. So what needs to be done in practice? I would claim that it is quite a lot easier to strive for clean energy if you are completely dirty now. But as you already heard, it's not the case. So it's maybe more difficult to try to squeeze the last percentages. Anyway, energy is the key because it's, as all of us know, it's the main source of CO2 directly and indirectly, so we'll have to do something about energy. Overall, we want to develop new business opportunities for low carbon solutions, and also we need to somehow decouple economic growth from emissions. And we want to work on all fronts, public and private and systemic solutions, household level solutions, any possible way. Some of the approaches we have taken in this region is to create platforms for developing and demonstration. Something that we are talking about oftentimes, for instance, LUT researchers, is that currently we don't have sufficient funding available for really proof of concept level industrial solutions, either nationally or internationally. So we are trying to find a solution that would serve also this kind of a bit larger scale pilots. We are encouraging public, private and people's partnerships. I will show you some examples later on. And of course we are trying to lead by examples. It's not always so easy. on a personal or regional level. We have to use all the resources wisely, not only the physical resources, but the mental resources, the institutional resources. We need to use the administrative processes we anyway need to do in a more efficient way to support this goal. My personal responsibility that is kind of guarding my work at the Regional Council is the so-called smart specialization. This is something that the EU imposed on regions when this 2014 programming period started, that we should make some choices based on the local needs and competencies in order to distribute the funds that we are allocated more efficiently and try to pool resources to those uses that would make a better outcome. So now we have the smart specialization strategy until 2021, and also next year we will start to prepare the next one. We have three kind of core targets. One is clean energy and environment, and then we have new industrial methods and materials, smart services, and at the heart is the digitalization. We thought digitalization is such a lame word that we invented a new word, digipower. So I think energy is basically a red, kind of, how to say, punainen lanka, this thread that is running throughout these, because without smart software you cannot control, you cannot distribute, you cannot produce anymore. Without new industrial methods and materials, we don't get the energy efficiency in the processes or in the end products. So basically everything has to do with energy as well. So this is, we also have three kind of intersectional targets. One is this experimenting platforms. Then we have this technology region. And the third is the innovation-driven entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is very important. We might have some good ideas, we might have some good science that is really feasible for producing new business, but unless we have this willing and able entrepreneur, it will not become a reality. Before going into the renewable energy issue and also the use of energy in the region, I would like to give an example of something we did with just households. This is a project by ERDF funding, which Lappeenranta City is doing with the citizens. So they have a brand that has become a regional brand, this Green Reality, and they have a project that is just closed. It's working with the families, called Green Reality Homes and Companies, and this was a hands-on experiment. There was an open call for households to sign, and they had these workshops with them. That first they analyzed their household's situation at the moment, and then over the course of the program they made some targets on a household level and also on a personal level, those people living in the households, where it's my chance to make a more low carbon choice. And very interesting, and because all the time in the news there is talk about what can I do, what can a normal person do. This is a way to show, you know, we can all do something. Although I don't think solving this challenge should be left to normal, ordinary people. But today Finland is getting a new government, so we have high hopes that they will fulfill their ambitious government program in this respect. Okay, I thought I'd give some kind of subjective and limited view of where we are at now. Mind you, I'm not an energy expert. I'm an economist to start with, and also industrial economics, and I just have a heart for this low carbon thing. So keep that in mind. Bio-CHP, first of all, CHP is of course something that makes the system a bit more efficient compared to other choices. This is mostly renewable already. We are, as I said, we're largely benefiting from this local industry we have. And by the way, this is more of the point of view, how do we satisfy the local, regional energy need, this is what I'm saying. So, hydropower, you saw in this video, the power plant in Imatra, it has been recently modernized and upgraded, so I think it's running the way it is for the near future. When it was built in the 20s, somebody said that this will be sufficient for the electricity supply for whole Finland for the future, and now it's about 5%, so it wasn't quite enough, but it's still significant as a single plant. Wind energy, you saw some windmills. We have some inland windmills, but we also have quite a major problem here because basically those people responsible for defense think that we should not build anymore because they are interfering in some of their systems. So we need to find a way around this to enable a new windmill projects here, but at the moment they are basically halted for now. Solar energy, okay, the total amount is not big yet, but we are the leading solar energy region as well for the time being, and I believe more efficient local solutions and also storage, especially storage and these kind of things will make solar much bigger. We are, Lappeenranta is kind of the most solar city in Finland, I think, by how do you say, well, weather in the annual weather. So, and in Finland the winter is not so good as you see now, but summer is, the days are very long, so there might be more chances than we think. Biomethane, especially now because we are going to have a new plant at the municipal waste plant in Peuhkuri. They will convert the local bio waste to biomethane, which will be used for transport. There will be 3 new fueling stations for compressed biogas in the near future, in about 1 year or so. Heat recovery. One angle to this is the excess heat from the different kind of industrial plants we have. There has been quite serious attempts to utilize the excess heat, for instance, for heating some parts of city or municipality, but until now, kind of techno-economic agreements have not been reached. But I wouldn't announce the case closed. I don't know at the moment whether there's anything very active ongoing, but to keep in mind. Geothermal energy is something that is used especially for private and smaller houses in the rural and less populated regions. Even if we are now in the city area, there's also in South Karelia quite a lot of areas where there's no very good infra around. We have one challenge though concerning geothermal energy is that we have a big underground water reservoir, which is making some limitations from the environmental administration point of view. to utilize those deep holes. But then again, I think we would have a good opportunity to take heat from the lake, for example. I don't know how, probably it's not very much utilized, but it's something that is kind of possible. And future solutions, there are many and they're already in the making, but when I'm looking at the program we have today, I don't think I need to talk more about them because I'm sure that there are others that will talk more about them. A couple of words about use then. The new commissioner, van der Leyen, is saying that she would like to extend the ETS, European Emissions Trade Scheme, to new areas, first to marine and later maybe buildings, transport. But for now, this is what is assumed as the non-EU ETS. We need to work on transportation, construction and buildings, and waste management even further. Rail and waterways are the most pressing kind of large-scale logistic issues now, especially waterways, because we have a quite significant internal lake area, the Saimaa Lake. We're now at the southernmost end, but it's stretching quite far north, and it's very important for the logistics inland. And we have a project concerning this. I may run out of vocabulary, but we have this channel, Saimaa channel from Saimaa Lake to the Gulf of Finland, and there's this sulku. Who knows what's sulku? It's the place where they make the water level even. So this locks, yes. We need to lengthen the locks because the vessels are getting old now, and the companies that want to continue to operate in the Saimaa area need to have a longer lock in order to have a good capacity, and they will not invest in the new vessels unless we get this lengthened. So this is one of the strategic core topics for the Regional Council at the moment, and we hope that the new government will take a very firm and fast action in order to enable this, because if case it should happen that it's not possible to operate anymore with vessels, we would have a very huge logistic increase in the land transport, and that's not sustainable in any way. Then we could fulfill all the low carbon targets we have. And I also heard, by the way, that someone in the Commission had suggested that the future of the inland marine transportation will be electric and hydrogen. So might be something to listen to with a careful ear. Of course, public transport, cycling, clean fuels, also mobility as a service. We have had some projects about mobility as a service, especially in the rural areas, and also trying to find the logistic optimization so that public and private needs would meet, and we could share transport. In construction and buildings, we are working on energy efficiency. We are working on better automation and responsive systems in order to use good heat when we need it, and maybe lower temperature when not needed in all kinds of applications. And Jari Hämäläinen showed a little bit about this 3D printing renewable materials. That's one of the key projects we have now for this low carbon material side. And in terms of waste management, quite obvious, circular economy, minimal waste. We are doing quite well already, I think, in this respect. So then to end, just a couple of words about the future funding, how it looks like. So we are one of the intermediary bodies for the EU ERDF money here, and AUT has been using quite a lot of this fund as well as part of their 32 million portfolio shown by Mr. Hanalainen earlier. Of course, we have now a problem. The multi-annual monetary funding scheme is not ready yet. We have had some serious delays, and who knows when, but probably it's going to be late for, I don't know, 1 year or so. What do you think, Paula? Quite a lot. Yeah, anyway. We are going to have some new elements in cohesion policy about climate and immigration. These are some themes that have kind of entered the equation, but as a separate scheme, maybe not so big. But on the other hand, what is very timely and interesting for us is the structural funds program. The operational program is being prepared while we speak. I am in the understanding that the next version will come end of this week to some kind of short commenting period, and then some plans suggest that in the beginning of next year, latest April, Finnish authorities will present the program for the EU for the first draft. So this is what is going on, and I am traveling tomorrow morning to Delft to discuss with European colleagues about the structural funds this period and also future period. However, low carbon will be kind of woven into all the actions in this program in a very integrated way, which is good. From the first version I've seen, I expect there's going to be a good incentive for this kind of public-private and multi-stakeholder approach. There's also going to be more of this kind of soft side of the transition and of these capabilities for innovation and low carbon, for instance, management of innovation processes and the competence of the employees and so on. There's going to be this kind of integrated territorial investment element in this operational program. In the previous, so this period we're still living, there were only 6 biggest cities included, but in the new program it's foreseen that there's going to be 11 university cities. So also Lappeenranta will be included. We need to maximally exploit the synergies with other instruments like Horizon Europe, like the rural development programs, also the cross-border cooperation programs. We have the Southeastern Finland, Russia cross-border cooperation program here. They're actually having today and tomorrow their annual event, so somewhere very close. And I would suggest that if anybody of you is interested in having a project, if applicable, together with Russians on this instrument, there's going to be another last call in closing March 2020. So if relevant, please go to the websites or ask me for more information. Also, the new head commissioner has suggested that there's going to be a sustainable Europe investment plan in order to kind of operationalize her Green Deal, this new Green Deal for Europe. So maybe in the very, very close future we'll hear more about this, what it's going to be included. So some kind of strategic investments will be available. That's all. A clear future ahead. I'm going to be around for the rest of the day, so if you have something to ask now, you can ask. If you want to ask later, you can also come and talk to me later. Thanks. Okay.
Thank you very much. In terms of carbon capture, apart from these materials, the batteries and these sort of things that still building, are you thinking about any large-scale CO2 capture in the region?
I think so, but I believe that there's going to be somebody in the coming topics to talk. But I suspect we are looking for direct utilization of captured carbon for kind of reproducing new fuels and materials. So we're not going to store it as such, but maybe use it as a source, as a raw material. But I suspect somebody, maybe Petteri Laaksonen, who is going to talk about this more later. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Okay. Now we look at